Hello and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. I am going to be redrawing an old piece of art. I'm going to show it on screen in a few minutes, but I wanted to start the video by showing this video is basically going to go over my normal drawing process for a more simple character-based drawing. No fancy background or like crazy angles and stuff, but like a basic character interaction drawing of mine. And the way I usually start that is by making sure I understand what I'm drawing by finding references and making sure I get stuff like the pose down and how the characters are going to be interacting and stuff like that. Okay, so now you'll see on the left is the first drawing. This is for my very first sketchbook that I ever filled out. I was 12, so that was 8 years ago. And I don't know, I guess I just felt like I don't do a lot of redraw challenges. I guess I just don't care that much. I like to look at my old art, just not necessarily remake the same old art. But I thought this would be fun, just to do it once and see what it looks like. So for the sketching process, the sketchbook I'm using, by the way, it's a Strathmore, I think it's 300, the one with the yellow cover, Strathmore Mixed Media sketchbook. And I'm using a coal erase pencil to sketch. I usually like to use those for markers so that when you erase it, it doesn't erase completely, but then it's not like gray graphite mucks up your markers. Instead, it's a color that'll actually blend into the markers. And talking a bit about that old drawing specifically, if I remember correctly, I believe the drawing was actually for Pride Month. Like, picture this, I'm 12 years old, it's like 2016, and I just kind of discovered that gay people get a whole month. Like, by that point I had known gay people existed, but this was kind of, I was on social media for the first time around this age, and this is when I discovered the LGBTQ community. Like, it's something different from just the concept of being gay or lesbian, and this was how I found out about stuff like different gender identities, different ways to be queer, and it was really, and I kind of felt that this was where I wanted to be, or where I felt like I could belong, and I was just growing these drawing skills too, and so I decided to make a drawing about two random, I was thinking they were both boys at the time, and you know what, they're in love, they love each other, and that's what Pride Month is about, right? Just loving other people, no matter who you are, because it's cool and it's free. There should probably be some exceptions to that, but you get the idea. And I just think that's really funny to think about, because now I'm grown up and I've adopted some more queer identities of my own, and I've seen this community grow as sort of our relationship with the internet has grown, and there's a lot of obviously bad parts, annoying parts, stuff like that, but it's a community, and we should all be here for each other, and I know I will be. And so I think by redrawing this, I just wanted to take, oh, by the way, this is me absolutely giving up because I didn't know how to draw those shoes, so I just skipped the line art. And so I guess by redrawing this, I just kind of wanted to get back to those, my first feelings I had of just being blissfully happy, of finding out what the queer community was. And so now I'm doing the line art. I don't really do anything that special. I'm just using black pen. These are Staedtler fine liners. And I feel like I normally get more interesting with my line art when it comes to digital. But when it's like just in a sketchbook, it's traditional art, I don't really put all too much effort into it. I just go over my sketch lines. Okay, and now we are starting the coloring. I'm using Copic markers. I don't always use them. Sometimes I also have some Ohuhu markers, just the normal, like broad tip and fine tip. I'll use those if I'm making something even quicker, even sketchier. But I like to use my Copics for when something feels a bit more serious. I do prefer Copics just because they have a lot more nuance in their exact colors. And honestly, that doesn't really have to be that important for everyone, because kind of the point of alcohol markers is that you can layer them and blend them, and you can make your own colors by using that technique. But I don't know. I like the Copic. I find that watching alcohol marker speed paints or draw with me's are really satisfying. So that's basically why I decided to film this video at all. So I hope you guys feel the same way. Like, also, I apologize that this video is so long. I don't know the best way to edit them down. Like, I'm not too sure yet which parts are super important, which parts people think are boring. But I know there's the audience out there that likes their long, rambly videos so that they can draw along too, and it feels like there's another person with you. So I'm making this video for those dudes out there. Thank you for making it 10 minutes into this video. There's 20 more left to go. I'll see. It's a long ride. So my usual techniques for when I'm not really trying to do something too special with a piece. These are kind of like my autopilot methods of using markers. I'll usually use some purplish color for the shading, and then I like to take a color that's like a bit darker than the base color and put that at the edge of the shadow so that it looks a bit like, I think it's called subsurface scattering. And then for hair, I like to do some cool highlights, and this is where the brush tip is really fun to use because it makes it a lot smoother to look at when you get those tapers. If I'm being honest, I usually don't include highlights in places other than the hair, but for this drawing I was feeling like, my coloring style is actually pretty boring. I should try to step it up a little by including some highlight colors in places that aren't the hair. So like the shirt is red, so normally I would just do the base red color and then a purple shadow color and then call it a day, but I wanted to make it a bit more interesting, so I added some lighter orange for that highlight, and I actually think it turned out really well in like the shirt, for example. I feel like it's not too noticeable in other areas of the drawing though, but it's whatever, it's done. I also do feel like this was a good drawing for me to make because I am honestly pretty bad at drawing characters interacting. I feel like I'm not really bad at it, but I'm bad at making myself do it. For considering like the kind of thoughts that I have in my head of things that I want to draw. I never put them into practice, or I very rarely do. And so like I make a lot of characters and I make a lot of stories, and I like, basically my favorite part of writing and making stories is character interaction and relationships. So it's pretty important that I learn how to draw them if I want to, make more illustrations of that kind of stuff, if I want to make comics and stuff like that. So this was a pretty good drawing to do for that purpose. I'd say their expressions are a little, it's kind of like when someone says smile for the picture, and so you do your picture face. So like this drawing, this interaction isn't the most natural looking, I'd say. It's not really candid, and that is the other kind of stuff that I really want to get better at drawing. But still, this is a good place to practice and to start. In the original drawing, if you remember, or if you scrub back to see, they were just wearing like pretty plain clothes, like skinny jeans and t-shirts and sneakers. I think the other guy was in fact wearing boots. But yeah, they looked pretty basic, pretty boring, just like kind of the same model, but I switched up the colors. So I decided to change up what they were wearing. But fun fact about me, I am so bad at masculine fashion, like casual masculine fashion. I do not understand what boys wear. Like, there's so many different styles that I'm familiar with that feminine people wear, and I feel like I can always make stuff up on the spot pretty well, but when it comes to masculine outfits, it's out the window. I am lost without Pinterest. So I gave the original guy, he still has like a red t-shirt, but I gave him some shorts with like those, I think it's really cool when denim has like these interesting sort of cutouts or like patterns. I don't really know what they are. And then one thing I have been meaning to get better at drawing is like sneakers, and like non-Converse sneakers, like Jordans and Nikes and stuff like that. Like, so many of my characters should be wearing them, and I have always been so scared of the amount of detail in them. So I still simplify them quite a bit, but I'm getting there. And then for the other character, I put them in a jean jacket. I was thinking about how at Pride a lot, I always think of, there's always at least 100 people at a Pride parade wearing a denim jacket covered in patches. So I wanted this character to be that guy. And in the original drawing, I imagined they were both two boys, two guys. But since this is just kind of general Pride, my revamped drawing is, I wanted to make it more like, feel free to envision yourself and whoever you want. So honestly, they're kind of androgynous. You can imagine they're two lesbians, two non-binaries, any combination of people that you want. I like to have when I think about Pride drawing concepts, and honestly just like any kind of character design and illustration, I like to have a good balance of ambiguous character designs that people are free to interpret in any way, and character designs that are very heavily inspired from like a specific demographic of person. Because I'm always thinking, there are so many different kinds of people, and there are people that look not how you expect and people that look exactly how you expect, and they're both good kinds of people, and so I want to include all of these. With my art, it's really important to me that I make all different kinds of people feel seen, mostly those who've been marginalized, like because of race, because of gender, sexuality, ethnicity, ability. One field I need to get better at drawing and representing are different able-bodied peoples. But you get the idea. I just really want to make a place with my art where people feel comfortable and they feel valid and they feel safe. Speaking more about my video process, or like my filming process, it took so much longer than when I usually draw. Or honestly, maybe I just draw super slow because I don't have any pressure on me when there's not a camera in front of me. But you know, when I draw for fun in my sketchbook, it is not unusual for me to take several days to finish something, and that's just because, like, I'll start on something, like, I'll start a sketch one day, and I just get bored, and I start on a different project, a different drawing, and then I'll come back the next day, finish the sketch, and that's all I do for that day. And then maybe I don't touch that drawing for 3 days, and then eventually I come back, and who knows, maybe I do something spontaneous and finish the whole drawing in one day. But I am very slow when I'm making art just for myself. And it was also a little hard to find time to film when I knew that no one was going to bother me in my house. But, you know, we made it work in the end. I somehow finished this whole thing. I used to be really scared about filming videos for YouTube because I didn't want my phone to explode since I don't have a camera. But I made it work this time around. And now, God, when I put all of the footage into Premiere Pro, I had 2 hours of footage, which I honestly, in the grand scheme of things, just talking about like a full colored and shaded illustration for me, 2 hours is not bad. That's about what I would expect. But I didn't want to make a 2-hour video. You guys don't want to watch a 2-hour video, not for a drawing as simple as this. So I managed to get it down to 30 minutes. I think I might, in the future, if I do more speed paints, I might try to cap it at 15, because unless it's like a really like detailed scene of a drawing, I feel like 30 minutes isn't really worth it. But you know, this is all stuff for the future. I'm wondering if I'll be able to make a lot or much less few videos next semester because I'm in school. I'll have my own room and it'll be easier for people to not bother me. But also, like, you know, I kind of go to class and I kind of have a job, and so, you know, this is just a hobby. That's something that, sure, I'll talk about that. YouTube is entirely for fun. I do not envision becoming a YouTuber, doing this stably for stability. That's not what I'm aiming for. I just, you know, I like to watch videos of people drawing, and so I make these videos for people who are like me, for people who like to watch people draw. And, you know, it's pretty fun so far, so I haven't gotten tired of it yet. I wrote down in my journal a list of topics I could talk about, and I actually thought I would be able to yap for the whole 30 minutes, but I guess we're feeling the brevity today. So, you know what, let's just cut it out. Just listen to some royalty-free lo-fi for a few minutes. And now we're on the last portion of my drawing process, which is like all of the sparkly bits and extras. So I usually use a white gel pen and I put little sparkles in the eyes, and for the person in the red shirt I wanted to add some details to the shoes and also the shirt, and for some reason I just had Spider-Man on the mind, so I did some spiderweb designs. And these pens that I'm using, they're my secret weapon, and the only reason they're secret is because I've never seen anyone else use them. I got them off of some like stationery website. They're called Monami Plus pens, and I got a case of a bunch of colors, and they're really useful. They're not really for drawing, they're just like water-based markers with a fine tip, so they're really good for like journaling, and as you can see, like adding a bunch of extra little details. This is something that I do sometimes, where I just take a color that's the same as the base color, and I just add little hatch lines, like sort of as extra shading, like really subtle shading, or adding like texture, that kind of thing. And you probably can't even see it on camera because I did it so small, or because the color just blends in too well because I used the same exact color. But it's just kind of makes it feel complete to me. And now for the sort of background, I decided to just kind of put cute things, kind of like stickers, except I'm drawing them on. So I'm adding in a rainbow, and then I just do random shapes in other places. This is usually what I do when I'm not drawing a background, which is almost every drawing. I need to get better at drawing backgrounds, but that's not what we're talking about today, because instead we're doing this. I just, I'm one of those guys that likes to put stars and hearts and sparkles in the background of drawings, because it's fun and it makes me happy. I don't know why I sound so angry all of a sudden. I also sometimes use, you can see in the corner, I probably cut the footage because it was just so quick, but I also sometimes use Jelly Roll gel pens for, again, extra little highlight stuff. Like I used it to add the polka dots onto the one guy's socks. And whenever I use this technique of just like adding random shapes in the background, I either choose colors that I've already used in the drawing, or I just go for rainbow. If my drawing already contains a lot of colors, then you can just add every color again, and it's just going to make it look like some third grader sticker bombed it, and sometimes that's a good look. And then I'm also adding this little outline. It doesn't go around the entire drawing, but I thought it still felt a little empty, so maybe this would help. I use like a really light blue so it's not too in your face. And then I didn't film this part, but I did end up coming back and putting more small stickers in the empty spaces, and I also used a white pen to go around the parts where the characters are touching that I feel like don't stand out enough, like the one guy's leg on top of the other guy's shirt and leg. And then this is the final comparison. What do you think? Is it better? Is it worse? Who knows? It's all an opinion. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think the drawing came out really cute. It's really sweet. It makes me happy to know that somewhere out there is me, 12 years old, and thinking, man, one day I'm gonna redraw this and it's gonna look so good. I've run out of time. Thank you for watching.